Hi, my name is Melissa Leonard, and I'm the CMA Product Manager here at Gleim. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today for a conversation with Brigitte de Graaf. Currently, she runs the English CMA program at VU Amsterdam and is in her, I believe, second year serving on IMA's Global Board of Directors. She's also pursuing her PhD in Integrated Reporting and is an editorial contributor to the Gleim CMA Review books. I'm really excited to have the chance to sit and talk with her today. So thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So was I correct, second year on the IMA Board of Directors or first year?
Yeah.
Okay, so did it start in June this year then? Or?
Yeah, in 2020. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for correcting me there. All right, so to kind of get started off here, do you want to tell us a little bit about your role at VU in Amsterdam?
Yeah, of course. So I work at the VU in Amsterdam, or the Vrije Universiteit, as we call it, and it's one of the two major universities in Amsterdam. Like you said, I work there as a coordinator and lecturer of the English CMA program. In Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, we do have a CMA program running at the university for almost, I think, more than 25 years already. And in that we prepare the candidates, these students, for the CMA exams. So both for CMA Part 1 and Part 2, we have different courses, and they stretch over about 15 weeks. And we really practice and train with them to be well prepared for the CMA exams in the end. And beside my work as a coordinator for the and lecturer for the CMA program, I am indeed also a PhD candidate, finishing up my PhD actually at the moment, and in integrated reporting.
When do you expect to have that finished up?
Well, at the beginning of 2021, so it's going to be a very exciting, very busy time. But
yes. Well, good luck with that.
Well, thank you.
And congratulations on being appointed to the board for IMA. As we just mentioned, it's your first year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your role on the board?
Yeah, definitely. So indeed, I started in, I think, the 1st of July 2020 on my global board position. And besides being part of the global board in general, I am specifically focusing on volunteer leadership. So with the volunteer leadership committee, we are focusing on possibilities for IMA members to get involved with both IMA, but also more with the financial profession. And we try to find ways in which people can create and establish their leadership skills. So within IMA, but also outside, and we provide opportunities for students with a student leadership experience, but also for young professionals and everything. So we are very much focused on volunteerism and volunteer leadership.
And has that, I mean, I know this is your first year, so you might not have some point of reference from last year, but has it kind of taken a different shape with the pandemic and everything?
Yeah, well, it has. Although it's my first year on the global board, I have been active in other roles within IMA, from the Amsterdam chapter, but also Global Competence Roundtable. And yeah, of course, things are going quite differently. IMA, as you know, is a very global organization. And of course, well, travel is very much affected, and different regions are affected at different periods of time. So we have to work with that. But at this moment, for example, we are working on a young professional experience, which is hopefully a little bit of digital and a little bit, hopefully in the end, also in-person meetings and everything. But the good thing is that it's also very nice, and it's great to see that still you get very much in touch with people all around the world, even though there is a big global pandemic happening at the same time.
Right. That's good to hear. That people are still staying engaged, even though it's harder to be face-to-face.
Yeah, well, if I look, for example, at the local chapter activities with the Amsterdam chapter, we usually only had people from the Netherlands and perhaps sometime a visitor from a little bit further abroad. But now we have people from all over the world joining our webinars and events, and it's actually great to have such a global experience for what used to be a very local event normally. So it also has its benefits in that sense.
Wow. Yeah. So you mentioned you've been active with the IMA for a while. How many years have you been a member of IMA now? It's been.
I have been a member for 7 and 8, I think 8 years already. Yeah.
Okay. And what are a lot of the rewards that come with being a member of IMA for you?
Well, of course, being a member of IMA means one of the main items of IMA is, of course, the CMA designation. And I think the CMA certification is a great tool to share knowledge and also to show what knowledge you have as a management accountant or as a financial professional. I think it's great to see the resources there are from IMA to keep on developing further in the field, for example, with the CSCA accreditation, but also with the CPE credits that you have to reach. There are so many webinars and events going on, and I think that's one of the main rewards of being an IMA member. On the other hand, I think also if you're an IMA member but not a CMA yet, I think you still can benefit a lot with the opportunities that are given to build out your network and to get in touch with people from different countries and different sectors and everything. So there's a huge networking opportunity and a lot of possibilities to focus on your career with or without your CMA designation.
And so what is your personal favorite part about being an IMA member?
My personal favorite part is, I think, the IMA community. So the moment you are getting involved with IMA, no matter where you are around the world, there's always this feeling like they know exactly what's going on in your country. And I think they actually do, because there are so many local chapters. There are so many local places, so many local chapters and volunteers who are organizing events, IMA events locally, and then a little bit more international, and also, of course, globally. And I think that's my favorite part, that wherever you are in the world, you can always connect with people close and far away. And I think that's a huge benefit of an organization which is as big as IMA, but still is able to remain as local as they are.
I'd have to agree. I've been a member myself for, I think, maybe 10 years.
Wow.
I think, I don't really recall. I apologize. But one of the things I love about the IMA is the community. And, usually at the annual conference, you get to reconnect and connect with people. And it feels like a very tight-knit community, but also so global.
Yeah, definitely. And I also, even if you are hosting a small event with only 20 people, for example, in the Netherlands, whenever something comes up or you need speakers or you need some help or support, you can always just reach out, and there's a whole team of people willing to help out. And I think that feeling, and that's real nice if you're part of the IMA. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So kind of going a little bit down the road of what kind of led you to be an accountant? Like, what brought you to the accounting world?
Yeah, well, at first I wasn't aiming on majoring in accounting, actually. During my studies, I thought I would focus on either finance or tax regulations, because I was also pursuing my criminal law degree, and I thought, well, that's a perfect match in one way or the other. But then I started focusing more, or I learned more about accounting frauds and the financial reporting scandals, and I got really interested in the workings behind those scandals and how could that even happen, and what do these numbers actually tell you. So I dived more into that, and that sort of drove me majoring in accounting. And on the other hand, during my studies, I was working as a student assistant at my university, and I got in touch with the CMA program at our university. So I also saw what it meant to be an accountant in practice, and that really drove me to also pursue, in the end, my CMA as well.
Great. And so when you made that decision, you saw it in practice and you kind of decided to pursue your CMA. What was the main driver in making that decision to pursue the designation?
I think when I was working as a student assistant at the university, I saw the people who were pursuing their CMA later on in their career, and they just gave me the motivation to do so. I saw why they were doing that, either because they were switching from a whole different work environment to more management accounting, or becoming a financial professional, or they wanted to update their knowledge, or they wanted just to be able to focus in depth on certain topics again. And I thought it was so inspiring to see all those people reconnecting with this field of work. And I think that really inspired me, the fact that apparently it really brought them something. And I thought, well, if it's bringing them something, it probably brings me something too. So I wanted to be a part of this.
While you were pursuing your certification, you're very busy. So what was maybe like the big obstacle that you kind of encountered while you were pursuing the certification?
I think finding the time to study, because the CMA exam, or the two exams, they are very big exams. There are a lot of topics, a lot of questions, very limited time to answer them on the actual exam. So I think finding the time to really find a structure to study for the exam, I think that was the hardest part, because people are always either studying or working, they have a family life perhaps, and there are so many other things to do while you want to be studying or should be studying perhaps. And I think to find this structure in preparing for the exam, I think that was the hardest part for me before preparing for the exam.
Do you have any tips or anything that kind of helped you and kept you going during that time when you were kind of struggling finding that time to study?
Yeah, I really made, I set certain goals for myself, and one of the key parts of these goals was I have to do some practice exams, or at least practice exams about certain topics at a certain point in time, and I really want to be done with this topic at least so many weeks before the exam. And I think practicing with the exams, practicing the old exam questions, and making mock exams for yourself, I think that's the perfect way to study for the exam, because it really prepares you for what you can expect. Like I said, you have only a very limited amount of time to answer each question on the exam. And even perhaps if you had double the time, you would manage it. But there are so many small variations and all those tricky questions in the exams. So you really need to be prepared to deal with those with a lot of information in a very brief amount of time. And practicing those questions really prepares you for that. One other tip I would say is also read the questions very carefully, because they can be quite tricky. And I made so many mistakes that when I was reviewing my questions, oh yeah, I should have read it properly. Yeah.
Right. And that's where it's important to really review the answer explanations after you take the quizzes, right? Because then hopefully those will help you understand, oh yeah, I just misread that question, or
or I really didn't think about this or that aspect. I thought it was not important, and it turned out to be quite important. Why is that? And how can I make sure to do this the next time correctly at first try?
Exactly. And also, I know all the answer choices, a lot of them are things that you can get if you read the question incorrectly, or just make one small little mathematical error or something. So you have to be really careful. They really
Yeah, you have to be very, very careful. Yeah. Careful, precise, but also quick.
Yes. Not an easy combination, but doable.
No.
Practice helps with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So now you're certified. You've been certified for, when did you get your CMA?
In 2014, yeah.
Okay. And what is maybe your favorite part about being a CMA?
What I like about being a CMA is that it sort of forces me to keep up with all the developments in the field, because once you pass your CMA exam, you have to earn 30 CPE credits. And those 30 CPE credits, I mean, it's not impossible to get those, but it really forces you to develop yourself every year in new topics. You have to learn new items. And of course, there's a lot going on in the accounting industry. So it really forces you to keep up with all the developments that are going on. And I really like the fact that I have to do that because otherwise, perhaps, again, time issues and everything. But now you're really just always trying to stay up to date. And there are a lot of, for example, webinars, especially nowadays, which are provided, which provide you insights in what's going on in depth or in more broader in general. And I really like that aspect of being a CMA.
Great. And I believe the IMA provides a lot of those webinars for members, don't they? They give a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
There are many, all about very different topics, either about leadership or more in depth about technology or sustainability or anything. And it's really nice to see this big database of knowledge which is available if you're an IMA member.
And within IMA, but also within the accounting industry, you are a great female role model. What kind of message would you have for women who are pursuing accounting for their career?
Well, the accounting world traditionally has been quite a male-dominated world. However, that is definitely changing. And I think if you look nowadays at standard setters at Big Four companies, if you look at CFOs or in academia, there are women represented in the accounting profession everywhere. And I think it's very important for women who are perhaps aspiring career in accounting to see that this is definitely possible. I mean, it's not only possible, I mean, the accounting profession needs you as well. So I think don't get taken away perhaps by a sort of outdated view of what the accounting profession is. There's so much going on and we need everyone we can get to keep up to date with all these new experiences and get these all new visions on where the industry is heading.
That's great advice. It's a great message. Now, one of the things that really sets the CMA apart, and we kind of touched on it earlier, is that it is a global designation. It's, I think, one of the things that I really enjoy about the CMA and working with CMAs around the world. What global trends do you see within the industry that has you the most excited right now?
Yeah, well, it is indeed one of the main benefits, I think, of the IMA and the CMA, that it's such a global designation. No matter where you are, you know that when you're talking to another CMA, you have the sort of same global business language that you're speaking. And I think one of the trends that I am very excited about is the sustainability trend, which is also very much happening in the accounting industry. I am doing research into integrated reporting, and I think this looking into financial and non-financial reporting and combining this kind of information, I think that is one of the big trends of the future. And I think it's not just, right now it's quite often a choice for organizations, but I don't think that in the future that will remain a choice. I think this is just the new reporting standard as it's going to be. And I think it's not only about reporting standards, but also it's not just the reporting, it's also within the organization, the management accountants, the management control system. They are going to look differently based on the reporting or the integrated reporting changes that are going to happen, I think, in the future. So, but it really gets me excited. And I mean, I'm writing my dissertation on this, so I can talk for hours. But it's also nice to see, actually, I think since 2020, in a new CMA program, this is also part of the curriculum. So you also see that these kind of developments, just like technology and analytics, which is also a huge development that's happening, of course, in the accounting industry, these are all picked up also in the CMA curriculum. They're all picked up in the exam, and I think it's real nice to be prepared with those new trends as well as a fresh CMA.
That's great. Yeah. Well, on another call, we'll have to have you talk more about integrated reporting.
Oh, definitely.
After you complete your dissertation, I don't want to take that much time from you. I know you're busy. So, and I guess that kind of touches a little bit. So you, like, kind of, where do you see the accounting industry headed? Is this kind of the direction you see it going, or?
Definitely, definitely. I really see it going much more well. Actually, I think both trends I just mentioned, there's a lot of attention for developments within technology and analytics. And of course, it puts the accounting industry for challenges, but also a lot of opportunities, all the opportunities you have with AI and machine learning and robotization. I think those are all very, very important trends the accounting industry should watch for. But on the other hand, I think society asks a lot more from the sustainability side, the integrated reporting side as well. So definitely, I think that's something where the accounting industry should be heading as well, and probably aided by the technology, which can enable this kind of reporting and thinking as well within the organization.
Great. Is there anything else that you would want to share with CMA candidates? And keep in mind, young and old. We have students and new students who are coming kind of to the accounting industry. I know here in the U.S., the CPA is kind of the big one, but the CMA, I think, has some other opportunities. So is there just anything you would want to share with potential CMA candidates?
Well, first of all, I think if you take the right amount of time, it's definitely something which you can manage. That's first of all. I know it might look like a lot to study at first, a lot of different topics, but I think it can make all the difference if you are, as a financial professional or as a management accountant or as a student already preparing at the start of your career, that if you know about all these topics and if you can put them in connection with each other and with the outside world, I think it's such a driver for your career, wherever you are in your career. So don't get put off perhaps by the time investment, but just trust yourself. You can really, really do this.
Great. Thank you so much. And just, wrapping up, any other last minute thing you want to say to anyone out there who's watching?
Well, just take the chance right now. I mean, all around the world, a lot of restaurants are closed and things cannot happen. Traveling is banned. Just use this time well.
You might have a little bit more time.
And becoming a very, very adaptive and broad thinking management accountant, I think we can use people with a broad vision in the future, in the near future, very, very well. So make the most of this time right now.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today and having this conversation. I know CMA candidates and also just accountants in general who are pursuing any kind of certification will find this beneficial. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.